Hello everyone and welcome back to some more F1 My Team. Today we're here for the Canadian Grand Prix, round 5 in season number 8. First of all, a bit of housekeeping. We're going to change our helmet for this race and for the rest of the season. I saw a few comments and it seemed like a good idea, so I'm going to change from blue to red and to kind of help contrast the car livery a bit and also the race suit. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. If you haven't seen the previous episode, round 4 at Monaco, the most recent episode, go check it out, link up in the top right before we jump into big spoilers. And yeah, if you're going to enjoy this one, leave a like and subscribe for more daily F1 content. Now then, in the background we took care of the activities for this weekend and we now have a personnel department event, which is basically an upgrade to the simulation software, which we went ahead and accepted because cash isn't really an issue for us at the minute and it means it's going to improve Aitken's pace, so I'm all for it. Qualifying is going to be dry, overcast conditions. The race, however, looks to have rain forecast at some point, 50% midway-ish through the race. Qualifying though, we're going to tackle that first and get that out of the way, starting off with Q1, and we're going to see if we can have a decent start. As you see our new helmet in action there with our race suit and our car. So first of all, setup as always, we're going to make the necessary adjustments. Now for this one, we're going to reduce the front wing and increase the off diff a little bit for stability purposes. And then just knock down the roll bar by 1 on the rear, and then our standard ride height to avoid floor damage, along with our standard brake pressure of 80%. And in this case, we're going to run the tyre pressures 1 click off mid, which you'll see now make the extra adjustment there before we head out on track. So here we are, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, looking to try and get into Q2 with 1 set of tyres. Starting the lap down to turn number 1, and straight away we get hit with a slam dunk corner cut and invalidation. So I went on to actually push and finish the first 2 sectors to give myself a reference. I then went and cooled down in sector 3 and then went for a second consecutive push lap. You can see we were up by about a 10th compared to our previous attempt, and now we're up by a couple of seconds, as of course this is when I was cooling off the tyres and getting ready for a second push lap. And we're going to see what we can do. The lap time can be made or lost in this final chicane. 5th gear, throwing the car in, getting nice and close to the wall of champions and up to the line, and it's going to be a 1 minute 6.2, which gives us P10, which isn't that great. I actually continued with that lap and I didn't stop because the tyre attempts looked okay. So essentially this is now our 3rd attempt at a lap and our 2nd consecutive push. Purple in sector 1, we found a chunk of time through the hairpin, and sector 2, and we're now 3 tenths up, and this looks much more on the money, and we are on course for a sub 1 minute 6. All we've got to do now is try to tackle the final chicane again, keeping it nice and clean, bit closer that time to the wall on the limit, but still 3.5 tenths up, and we move into a 1 minute 5.8 and into the top 5, and that would get the job done quite easily for us as we move into Q2. Again, similar to the last race, the grid is very close around here in qualifying. You can see the gaps. Aitken up in P2 there with a 1 minute 5.7. I believe Leclerc, Aitken, Tsunoda set some dodgy lap times which were slightly bugged out, slightly outside of their usual pace range. Nonetheless though, we're only a 10th off that, so the field is really competitive and it's going to take, small margins to gain 1 or 2 or 3 places. So Q2, fresh set of soft tyres on our car, and you can see we're purple in sector 2, and it's been a really good clean lap so far up until this point. And again, same story as always, but you can make or break a lap at the final chicane. Even if you're on an absolute 10 out of 10 lap, if you don't commit here, you could ruin the entire thing. And we actually nailed it through there. The best one of the weekend so far, even better than Q1. Up to the line, 1 minute 5.70, and that gives us P1 and the fastest lap of the weekend up until this point. We then went back to the pit lane and we had a look at the lap times, and I could see that I was safe quite comfortably by about 4 tenths. So we're not going to go back out. We're going to take a chance as Verstappen just goes P1 there on a set of medium tyres. Big lap from Max, by the way, 1 minute 5.3, which is insane. And yeah, we're going to move into Q3 comfortably. Aitken up in P2 again there, 1 minute 5.6. So yeah, the grid's close, and Verstappen flexing his muscles a little bit in terms of pace. But worth noting, Aitken again, he's had a really good last 2 races, picking up a podium last time out in Monaco, and his good form is set to continue. Anyway, this was my first attempt and my best attempt in Q3, so let's enjoy it with engine sound. There we go, across the line. Unfortunately, only enough for P2. However, still a personal best, 1 minute 5.648. A very, very decent lap. Not perfect, there was definitely more time in it, but we tried our best. And I did try and go for a second push, and you can see here with 30 seconds to go, we are going to start our lap. So I had a clear track, fresh tyres, and I knew where I had to improve. But into turn 1, just like at the start of qualifying, we invalidate straight away. So yeah, that's kind of really it for qualifying. Unfortunately, we end it as we start it. And yeah, in the end, it's going to be P3. Lando actually pipped us to P2, so fair play. Verstappen on pole, 1 minute 5.5. Still, though, his best lap of the weekend was on mediums, which is pretty insane with the mid-3s. So, yeah, Aiken P7, slightly disappointing. But again, look how close the grid is. You know, if you look at the gap from Lando pretty much down to Jack or Ricciardo, it's really, really close. You know, with Gasly being the exception, you know, Lance Stroll up to Norris, it's really, really close. So, yeah, P3, P7 for us in qualifying. Let's see what we can do in the race. Hopefully, we can fight back and turn it around. And worth noting, different strategies in the race, as Max will start on the medium, we'll start on the soft, and there's rain forecast.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Martinez, Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, and Tsunoda. Aitken, Ricciardo, Stroll and Pierre Gasly, Russell, Latifi, Esteban Ocon and Giovinazzi, Tictum, Matsushita, and Guan Yu Zhou and Callum Ilott, Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman and Nikita Mazepin. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Let's get down to business and let's see if we can turn this one around. P3 on the grid after qualifying here at Canada. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen getting the jump on us in terms of qualifying. But Verstappen is going to be starting the race on the medium tyre, so he should be vulnerable in the opening lap, and hopefully that might present an opportunity to try and overtake and take back P1 or P2. Strategy-wise, we have that rain, of course, forecast very early on in the race. Now, that could arrive early, that could arrive later. We'll see what happens with the actual forecast and whether the prediction is correct or inaccurate. Either way, we're starting on softs. Hopefully, we can go straight onto the intermediate if that is the case, if it even rains enough for intermediates. So let's see what happens. A lot of variables and a lot of things that can change this race. One thing, though, is I'm going to run minimum fuel. We was quite safe in Monaco fuel-wise, and we ran -5 laps. So I'm going to go minimum, which is nearly -5 laps again. And especially with some rain, it should be fine. So let's get into it. Let's see what happens. There should be drama. Verstappen on mediums, rain forecast. Let's see what happens, and hopefully we get a win at the end of it. Okay, let's get to work. Let's see if we can make this one a good race. 5 laps are on here in Canada. And right away. Oh, it's not a good start. Loads of wall spin. Lando gets the jump on Verstappen. Meanwhile, Bottas on the inside trying to get past us. Going to have to try and defend here as we have the inside line. Still side by side. Valtteri though all the way around the outside. Can't do much about it. He's got me. Fair play. Great start from both Mercedes. Lando up to P1. Bottas up to P3. We're down to P4 with Leclerc and Aitken behind us. Let's see if we can try and recover quickly and get back past Bottas. Verstappen over medium, let's see how he holds up. I think he'll be okay the first couple of laps, and then we'll see how also the soft tyres perform more than anything. I'm expecting drop off. Let's ask for the weather forecast though.
No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Now that is very interesting. That is a game changer. So the rain is not going to be arriving anytime soon. So the forecast isn't really accurate. In that sense, it's going to be quite a bit later, so we're probably going to have to stop for another set of dries before we even go to the intermediates, if it even rains enough. Right, so we need to rethink our options here. Verstappen could be in a pretty decent position in that case, on the medium. Anyway, let's crack on and see if we can get past Bottas first of all. Lando's setting the pace.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I feel quicker than Bottas, so let's see if we can try and pass. The issue for now, though, is that he's going to have DRS on Verstappen. The other thing is as well, has Lando been able to drop Verstappen out of DRS range? I don't think he has. No, Verstappen's actually catching back up, so let's see, man. It's going to be tough to break up this DRS train. You can see Bottas does have DRS, but I feel pretty quick, so we might try and see if we can make a move here. I feel like this is the most likely option. If I can get the run through that chicane and maybe get a look into the hairpin, that would be ideal. Not too bad of an exit. Another option would be the turn 1, so if we can get nice and close through here and line it up through the final chicane, get the run and nail him into turn 1.
Some information on Schwartzman. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Schwartzman out of the race. We have a bit of a wobble through the chicane. Fastest lap, but not quite close enough to Bottas to give him any trouble. But the pressure is building. Okay, now we're nice and close to Valtteri. Just got to try and nail the exit, which we do. That's nice. Definitely feeling quicker than Bottas at this stage of the race. Let's see if we can line them up out the final chicane. Gonna brake nice and early to try and get the drive off the corner, which we do. Now we're going to commit. Here we go. Let's try and get that P3. Up the inside, a nice clean move. Decisive move and up into the podium places, back to where we started. Now let's try and chip away at Verstappen and see if we can try and knock him off his perch in P2. Oh, Lando hit the wall there, I'm pretty sure, and Verstappen got out of shape. I wonder if Lando just gave himself wing damage. I'm pretty certain he hit the wall. Hold the phone, hang on a minute, let's see what happens here. Verstappen's going to go for it on Norris. Yeah, Norris is definitely in trouble.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Copy.
Not now, Jeff. Not really a good time, mate. We might be able to get the two of them here. If Lando pits for a front wing change, we could get Verstappen into turn 1 if we line this up correctly. Let's see. Try and get nice and close here. I'm expecting Lando to pit. No, he stays out, so maybe not wing damage, or maybe very, very slight. Can we get Max into turn 1 here, though? I'm going to try and have a look. Not quite able to get close enough. Seems like the Red Bull has decent straight line speed, so we can't quite get by. But the pressure is on now at this stage of the race. Oh yes, Verstappen's out of shape. Up the inside we go. Sending it, committing to a move. Nice, lovely. P2. Let's go after Lando now. We should be able to pick him off quite easily and get him on the back straight. I do believe he's got some slight damage because he's not that fast. Let's try and get close here. And then we should be able to get him between the two DRS zones of the back straight and the main straight, or the pit straight in this case. Here we go. Wind it up, get nice and close. Keep a little bit of ERS back for the exit of the chicane. Whoa, we both get out of shape, but Lando getting out of shape in a big, big way. And there we go.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the mediums.
Job done. Into P1, very effective lap. Pretty much capitalising on the AI's mistakes. You know, Lando getting out of shape a few times, Verstappen having a big moment under pressure on the medium, struggling for grip. And we're through. Now let's see what kind of pace we have. Can we open up a 1 second gap on these tyres, which are a little bit second hand at this stage, and maybe go a bit longer on the strategy as well.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
I'm most likely going to swap my strategy to a medium for this next stint, which the game has already selected for me. I think that's going to be the better option. Okay, so we've got the gap to Lando now, 1.6 seconds. Verstappen putting pressure on to get back past. Bottas also in the mix. I'm going to start watching my tyres a little bit now and my tyre temps. I might try and prolong the stint, because if we pit, we're going to be in, you know, pure traffic if you look at the mini-map right now. So let's try and go long, try and open up a gap and let the AI battle a bit and see if we can find a natural gap to open up in the pack.
Box, box. We're coming in this lap.
8 can pit, so does Bottas. and apparently ruined this lap as well. Lando pits, Verstappen stays out, of course. Let's evaluate at the end of the lap if we should pit or not. So I'm going to pit this lap. I can see now that everyone has pit. We've got quite a bit of a gap. You can see behind Russell in P3, Matsushita, Lundgaard.
Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
In that sort of region. Here we go. Great pit entry, absolutely excellent. Right, medium tyres, let's confirm those, which we have ready. I think we can rejoin ahead of Matsushita, to be honest, if this is a quick stop. Let's see. Hopefully we're right.
Go, go, go.
2.4, Matsushita and Lundgaard pit anyway, so we're going to be comfortably out in P2.
We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
And look at the gap, look at the difference. Lando 3.6 seconds behind. We've actually gained time by staying out because we didn't have to bother with traffic. That's how much of a difference it's made. Right, hopefully now, crucial phase, we need to try and get these tyres to the wet phase and, you know, debate if we have to pit for inters or not. That's going to be the next kind of gamble we go for. Verstappen pits. For the first time this race, onto a set of soft tyres. So he's going quite aggressive on strategy. We set a personal best, just a fraction off the fastest lap, which is a 0.5, but it must be a low 0.5. 2 personal best in a row. These tyres are working well. Max will rejoin in traffic, so he's going to have work to do. So now would be a great time for a bit of rain to sprinkle, to be honest. Okay, hopefully now we should get the fastest lap, if all goes well. There it is. Pace is very consistent on this tyre. Verstappen now up to P4. Still no word on the rain, as Verstappen takes our fastest lap.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
I wonder if we're even going to get this rain, or if it does, it might arrive right at the end. Well, the sun is starting to come out, so maybe no rain at all. By the looks of it, I know there was sun, you know, coming out in the second half of the race.
We're 3 laps under fuel target. It's vital we save some, switch to a more conservative pace and preserve what you have left.
We'll be okay, Jeff, don't worry. I'm working on it. But yeah, sun arriving. Very surprising. So maybe no rain at all this race. Verstappen pits for the final time this race, along with Bottas, Aitken.
Jack is in the pits. Jack in the pits.
We're going to extend our stint a little bit. I want to try and go to lap 24 and see if I can put a set of softs on. Hopefully guarantee the fastest lap. Verstappen 1 minute 7.2. About 8 tenths quicker than me on that lap. We're going to box this lap, so no big concerns with that kind of pace. We're going to be okay. And I've managed to extend my stint quite comfortably, so we're going to box for a set of softs and make our final stop. We've extended a few laps. The tyres are used, but there should be about 2 or 3%. Not very worn. No word on rain.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Dries
So
seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
yeah, it looks like we're not going to get any of that rain, so let's just box. Nice and safe pit entry, no need to rush or take any risk. We're under no pressure. Been a very comfortable, professional race. The pace has been very good. We've got the moves done when we had to earlier on. And yeah, let's see what happens. I think Max chose the wrong strategy, starting on medium. That's definitely the way to go around here.
Complete, go now.
And there we go, 2.6, and we should be out comfortably and have about, I'd say, a 5-6 second gap.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
What we've got to try and do now is try and manage our fuel and make sure we get that on target, as Lando keeping up with Max. Gap about 6 seconds as I predicted, so there we go, happy days.
Okay, we need to start saving fuel. Lift and coast where you can.
Yeah, copy that, Jeff. We'll go for our fastest lap next lap and then call it a day.
Okay, clear.
Oh, yellow flag behind. Someone's broken down. Is it Max or is it Lando? Oh, it's Lando.
Some information on Norris. They're retiring from the race.
Lando out of the race, unfortunately. So Max will get a reprieve. Good news though, it gains Aitken in place. He moves into the top 5. So another solid race from Jack Aitken. Putting in a shift. Meanwhile, we're on for our fastest lap. Let's try and stay on board here and see if we can improve.
Currently, the fastest lap is a 1:7.1.
Let's try and smash that out of the park. Nicely done through the chicane. And it's going to be about an 9/10 improvement. Right, that should hopefully do it, unless someone goes for a very late attempt. Let's bring the car home now. 1 lap of fuel to try and save. Here we go then, through the hairpin for the final time. Last lap of the race. Very professional performance, very under control. And hopefully Aitken can bring home a P5, which would mean a good points haul for us in both championships again. But yeah, a very good race, and hopefully we'll also get the fastest lap through the final chicane for the final time, nice and safe. And job done. We pick up the win in Canada with our new helmet for the first time. Nice.
Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
That's it then for another magnificent Canadian Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
Job done then. Excellent day at the office, and we do indeed secure the fastest lap, so we get an extra point. There is your top three with myself, Verstappen and Bottas on the podium. Tsunoda P4, great drive ahead of Aitken in P5, great recovery, gaining 2 places. Russell up to P6 ahead of Leclerc, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, and then missing out on the points of Latifi, Ticktum and Daniel Ricciardo down in P13 along with Giovinazzi. So let's look at the standings and see what that means after 5 rounds in this championship season. We have 15 points to the good and clear at the top. Aitken up to P4, great to see, and 2 points clear of Tsunoda. Ricciardo down to P6, which means in the Constructors, we are 23 points clear. I don't know guys, I think this might be the year, and I wasn't sure after the second race, but since then, Aitken has come through and he's performing, so I'm glad to see it. Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed the race here today. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Ambitious, but I trust you guys to at least get close to the target. As always, subscribe if you're new to the channel guys, as we're on the road to 100k. Finally check out the 2 videos on screen in a moment. Before that though, a big shout out to the members for supporting the content. But guys, cheers for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Take care, and let's goodbye from me.